against Hamas, and they see that Sinwar is still alive. They see the criticism against Israel around the globe, and they are encouraged by that.
I'm John Riley, northern Israel near the Lebanon border.
Today is the deadline for former President Donald Trump to pay his $454 million bond in that New York civil case. New York Attorney General Letitia James could start seizing his assets today. The media and Democrats are now full steam ahead on the Trump trashing train.
The Republican nominee, who also is a self-professed billionaire, that's an important part, Donald Trump, has a substantial cash problem, and a big one. If there is one thing that Donald Trump loves, it's other people's money.
The easiest option facing Donald Trump is the prospect of bankruptcy.
They know about all of the foolishness. They know about all of the corruption and everything that Donald Trump is, because there's people who want the bad guy to be president.
Fox News contributor Joe Concha says he hopes the Democrats keep this up because they are going to put Donald Trump back in the White House.
I mean, if Letitia James actually goes ahead and starts seizing Trump assets, padlocking doors, walking workers out of Trump Tower or out of Golf Course X up in New York State, all while having, this big smile on her face, and she's basically publicly twerking that, oh, this is a great thing that we're embarrassing this guy. She will, and you can save the tape, clinch Donald Trump's victory in November and his return to the Oval Office.
A former Justice Department attorney says it is possible that President Donald Trump may use the Eighth Amendment to argue against excessive fines in the New York State civil case against him. Chad Groening has more.
Trump announced on Friday that he has nearly $500 million in cash, suggesting that he could afford the bond in the New York case brought by the state's Attorney General Letitia James. Today is the deadline to secure the bond or face possibly having his assets seized by the AG. Trump and his legal team have appealed and requested a stay on his $454 million civil fraud judgment. Many observers have suggested Trump should challenge based on the Eighth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution related to excessive fines. J. Christian Adams is a former Justice Department attorney who is founder and chief counsel of the Public Interest Legal Foundation.
The Eighth Amendment applies to civil cases when excessive fines are imposed if they violate a test that the Supreme Court has put down, such as the scope of the issue involved and the ability to pay the fines. So there are some limits on what can be imposed as a civil fine.
And Adams says as far as President Trump's case...
As far as President Trump's case goes, it means if he raises these issues on appeal, appellate courts can look at the question whether or not the fine is on its face excessive. Does it seem right? And I think that's going to be the question, if it's raised on appeal, that's going to have to be dealt with.
Adams says Trump's notoriety may or may not compel the U.S. Supreme Court to ultimately weigh in on the case. I'm Chad Groening.
U.S. stocks are ticking lower so far at the start of what will be a shortened trading week. More news online at AFN.net and download the AFN mobile app for your Apple or Android device. I'm Rusty P.
Well, good evening, everyone, wherever you are. It's Tuesday night, and it is time for Nick at Night. That's me. Far out. Far First Amendment Radio out. That's what it is. Okay. Let's see. Well, good to see someone in the chat room. I've got Bridge in one chat room, Epicus in the other, and we'll just wait for everyone else to show up. Or we'll just carry on whether anyone shows up or not. What's the point? Yeah, that's the point anyway. Anyway, let's start with Babylon Bee. And we'll see what else we've got. Let's see, which one of these tabs am I supposed to press? Oh, that one. Here we are. The Babylon Bee. Trump announces he will pay entire bond using bags of nickels. Wonder where they came up with that, bags of nickels things. After news broke that the bond amount in his fraud case had been lowered from $454 million to $175, former President Donald Trump announced that he would pay the bond in its entirety with bags of nickels. Yes, I remember all his casinos went bankrupt. Could have been from missing bags of nickels. Well, that's just more comedy, folks. I'm not making accusations. Anyway, they say New York. After news broke, yes, bags of nickels. Trump notified the court that preparations had been already made for a fleet of armored trucks to arrive at the courthouse and begun unloading cases and cases of freshly minted and rolled nickels totaling $175 million. Beautiful, shiny nickels. So many nickels, Trump said in his announcement. It's a total sham that I have to pay anything, but now that the bond amount has been significantly reduced, I will now pay it in full with 5-cent pieces. Our wonderful U.S. nickel. Thomas Jefferson on one side, and we love Thomas Jefferson, don't we, folks? I hope Letitia James loves him too, because she's going to be seeing $175 million worth of him. I win once again, just like I will in November. Believe me. Believe me bigly. Yes. Anyway, you kind of get it. Try to turn it into a Donald Trump rant, paying with nickels. Good to see you, Mike, over there in the YouTube chat room. Okay, so, yes, not real news. All right, let's see what else we got. Wendy's is fine. Nation agrees. I don't get it. It's supposed to be fine? I mean, it's supposed to be funny. Huh. Whatever. I have to click on it and see why Wendy's is fine. Nation agrees. In a new survey released by the National Association of Fast Food Preferences Foundation, American citizens overwhelmingly agree that Wendy's is fine, they guess. Respondents said when no other fast food options were present, they mostly agreed that Wendy's was probably a decent choice. Whatever. Spokesman said, when subpar choices were offered, like, say, Jack in the Box or Carl's Jr., Wendy's ranked high on the okay, let's just do Wendy's then scale. Yeah. Well, I remember growing up, I liked their Frosties, and I remember my children growing up. They liked the Frosties too. Everybody likes the Frosties at Wendy's. But other than that, I don't go to Wendy's anymore. Yeah. Of course, I really don't go to many fast food joints at all anymore. Yeah, can't even think of the last time I was at one. Probably not in the last year, that's for sure. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I think I went to Taco Bell a year or so ago. Okay, let's see. Well, that's enough on Wendy's. Let's see what else. Let's see if they really have anything funny today. So far, not so funny. Babylon Bee. And we don't have anything funny. We'll have to get to serious news here pretty quick. Good to see you, Tom, over there in the chat room. Paying the judge the same way he pays his call girls, with bags of nickels. Now that's funny. Yeah. Letitia James prosecuted for grossly overvaluing Trump's fine. Yes, indeed. If only. Yeah. Let's see. Man wishes there were a radical progressive journalist nearby to tell him whether this post is misinformation. Can't figure it out for himself. People become so reliant on the mainstream misinformation news. Okay, let's see. Dave Calhoun, Boeing CEO. Okay. Boeing board forces CEO to resign after evidence surfaces he is a white male. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, woke was killing the company, so I guess they got to get rid of the white male at the top, too. Remember, this is Babylon Bee, so I don't know if these rumors are true or not. Okay, next. Bald man not comforted by the fact that God knows all the hairs on his head. And Kamala warns Israel not to violate San Francisco City Council's ceasefire decree. Yeah, I guess it's not supposed to make sense because Kamala says it. I didn't know that Israel was at war with San Francisco. I mean, they have sister cities, San Francisco and Tel Aviv. Yes, we won't go in depth on that comment. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, that's it. That's all we got. Babylon Bee ran out on us. Yeah, big in the news this morning was the Baltimore Bridge collapse. And anyway, I found this from Redacted on it. Since we're using Redacted News almost every night here, I thought I'd play this. I thought it was pretty good. It gives you pause to think. Was this, because it's a weird accident. If it's an accident, it's a very weird accident. Like, it's so weird that you have to go, that doesn't look like an accident. So, anyway, here we go. Let me turn up the sound and play it.
Well, General Mike Flynn says the bridge collapse in Baltimore is a black swan event. Now, it's much bigger than we know, so let's unpack this. And I have to say, I've done everything over the past 24 hours since this collapse happened in the early morning hours to say nothing to see here, total accident, mechanical problem, of course. It looks like a mechanical failure, a power outage, nothing to see here, don't worry about it. Then General Mike Flynn has to go and call this a black swan event and says, look more deeply into this. So we have. And there's more than meets the eye. So what is a black swan event? Well, a black swan event is, you're just chugging along, looking at normal, white swans that you normally see. Then suddenly everything seems predictable and normal. And then bam, giant black swan comes out of nowhere. Something totally unexpected blindsides you. Usually happens economically, right? We see that obviously with what happened in the 2008 collapse. That's exactly what a black swan event looks like. That's the essence of the swan event. Unexpected, impactful, often leaving us scrambling to make sense of what in the world just happened. So here's Mike Flynn's post on X this afternoon. This is a black swan event, he says. Black swans normally come out of the world of the finance, not military. The standard operating procedures for all U.S. ports, harbors, and bays that transit commerce and military activities are supposed to maintain an incredible level of discipline, rigor, and awareness for these very type of events not to occur ever. Yet here we are. There are harbor masters for every single one of these transit points in America that are in charge of assuring the safety of navigation. Start there, he says. So start there. Talk to the harbor masters. Don't necessarily look at the boat itself. That's maybe a red herring. Look at the harbor masters. Look at the infrastructure. Look at the electrical infrastructure. Look at the computers. Was it hacked? So look at that information, not just the boat itself, perhaps. So what do we know? Well, for one thing, we know the captain of the ship, or the ship's master, is Ukrainian. That's interesting. So here you can find that out easily by going to BalticShipping.com. You can punch in the information as we did here at Redacted. Go to the Dolly. The name of the ship is the Dolly. There you can see where it's currently sitting. It's now sitting there, covered by a bridge right in Baltimore, in the Chesapeake Harbor in Baltimore. And there is the ship's master. He is Ukrainian. Interesting. And UK Telegram channels today posting congratulations to great work and to expect more surprises in Europe too, unless we approve more aid to Ukraine.
Oh, blackmail.
Maybe it's a total coincidence here. These Ukrainian Telegram posts This is a beautiful work all over the world without hesitation. If you don't accept the aid package, then get it. Look forward to our surprises throughout Europe. We will teach you to defend democracy and help those who need it.
Sounds like we got to join Russia.
So maybe
I haven't seen anything like that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
Ukraine,
maybe this is just some like Telegram opportunists, on different Telegram channels, just trying to play into this, right?
Right.
Try to scare us.
We hope.
Or maybe there's something more to it. Who knows? But those posts exist on Ukrainian Telegram channels.
It's like the Goodfellas. You got this? F you, pay me. You do this? F you, pay me. Like,
yeah,
we're that kind of attitude.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And there would have been a Chesapeake Bay pilot on board also. So anytime you're going in and out of one of these harbors, you're going in, even if you're going into Norway and you're going into Stavanger, like the port of Stavanger in Norway, you have to wait outside of the channel. You have to wait until the Stavanger pilot comes on board. Just the same you have to do here in the Chesapeake Bay. A Chesapeake Bay pilot needs to assist the master and is on board. They know everything about this harbor. They know every detail of it, and they are going to guide you out. You're from Singapore? A Chesapeake Bay pilot will be on board and guiding this ship out. And that's what was happening. This ship was being guided out of port on its way out to sea and transporting large amounts of cargo. So it was leaving. It was almost about to leave. And here's the video of the incident. So we're going to watch this incident kind of in real time with some highlights on how this all breaks down here. So at about the first reel, we sped it up a little bit here. It's sped up a little bit here. You can see at about the 12-second mark. So this is going to go on for about 30 seconds. Okay, there's power loss number 1 at about 12 seconds. Okay, then at about 22 seconds, it recovers power. So it comes back on here. And then you see black smoke coming out of the engine, out of the whatchamacallit, the funnel. And then immediate evasive maneuver, the stack. Yeah. Then immediate evasive maneuvers take place. Helicopter, images show that in fact, one of the anchors was dropped on the port side. And there you have the smash and collapse of the bridge. Now, we also know, according to the mayor, that as a result of that, when they called in a Mayday call a few seconds before impact, they were able to divert traffic on the bridge, thankfully. And workers were able to stop and halt traffic coming across the bridge, which is why more people were not trapped on the bridge. There weren't more cars on the bridge at that time. So at least they had enough to say, Mayday, Mayday, where we've lost control, we don't have control of the ship, get people off the bridge, and they were able to prevent at least a lot more people from being killed or missing as a result of this. So, but this is interesting. So journalist Michael Yon tweeted this afternoon, and this is a more detailed analysis of the ship leaving. Okay, so it's coming off the dock there and heading out into the open ocean. And you can see here, though, how it changes course right before it loses power, which is interesting. So now this is where things, to me, get really interesting. Why 2 minutes before? Keep playing it if you would. Or did it stop? Yeah. So, all right. Now, right here, you're going to see it change course before losing power and colliding. So why did it change course aiming directly into the pylon?
Interesting.
It's a curious question, right? So why did it change course at that point? We don't know. Why? Why did it change course? Now, if you lose power and you have to use some sort of a backup steering system, in some cases you might be steering in the opposite direction of what you're used to. It's a reverse steering system. Now, I don't know if this ship was set up that way or not. This will be part of the investigation, I'm sure. So, and sometimes with backup power, that is the case with a steering column.
And also, isn't it kind of curious, like, those pylons have to be, like, they had to think about a boat running into those when they built that bridge, right? So one pylon going out collapses that much of the bridge? That seems like, that doesn't seem right. You know what I mean? Like, a boat could take out a pylon. like a whole bottom of the bridge. That doesn't make sense.
Well, U.S. bridge infrastructure is built like 200 years ago. I don't know when the Francis Scott Key Bridge was. Yeah, I don't know when this bridge was built, actually, to be honest with you. I mean, I've driven over it since, I think, childhood. Like, I grew up, my father's from Baltimore. I used to go down to the Chesapeake Bay and go crabbing. So me going down to like St. Michael's, going down to Chesapeake Harbor. One of my favorite foods in the world is Maryland blue steamed crabs. It is my actually, I will say it's my favorite food in the world. And so special times with my father going down there. And he used to go crabbing as a child. I don't know when this bridge was built, but I can tell you I remember driving over it for many, many years of my life. And also I doubt when it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I doubt when it was built though. It was built for like what wasn't that like 120,000 tons of ship that hit it?
Right. Yeah. So and maybe someone can let us know. 1977. Okay. So I was born in 1976. Yeah. So it's been around as long as I've been alive.
My oldest daughter was born in 76.
Interesting. I don't know exactly what impact it's meant to absorb one of these massive ships. Doubtful. I don't know that anything could stop that. Can you build something that would prevent this? I don't know. I mean, think about this ship hitting any bridge in America would wipe it out. If this thing hits the Golden Gate Bridge, it would probably collapse the Golden Gate Bridge, right? You would think. The massive size of this thing, disrupting one pylon and all of it comes down like a house of cards. I don't know. Anyway, so now I want to play this for you. So that was, you saw the track coming out and you saw it changing its direction at about 2 minutes left before impact. Yeah. But now I want to show you this 8 times speed video that's been making the rounds this afternoon as well, which I found interesting, and we'll share it here, which shows how much it had to divert itself. Look at, or how it moved position. Watch this. Bizarre. So let's keep playing this here. Like, look how much it had to swerve in order to hit this pylon. Total change of direction when you see it in that kind of speed.
Yeah.
With that kind of movement. Really crazy to look at. As Laura Logan tweeted this afternoon, the GPS systems that drive these boats are not encrypted. Journalist Laura Logan, one of the best journalists in the world. The GPS systems that drive these boats are not encrypted. When a Navy ship crashed into a large cargo ship not that long ago, it was a cyber attack that made that happen. I know they're saying that this was not nefarious, but how do they know so quickly? Right, that's a great question. How do they know so quickly? We keep over the past week, we've sort of been joking about the Biden administration. Like, really, they were so quick to tell us that ISIS was responsible for the...
Anyway, as you can see, there's something fishy going on there. And so I don't believe we've heard the end of this story yet, because to see that ship turn directly toward that pylon, then the power go out, that's not right. That's not right. Because if the boat was on course and the power went out, it would have gone under the bridge instead of hitting the pylon. But you can see that last-ditch maneuver there to aim it directly at the pylon for absolutely no reason whatsoever except to hit it. That's, yeah. So after seeing that video, going, wow, and that bridge was like, it was made to come down if it was hit. It was like when they built that bridge, nothing that big maybe did they ever think would hit one of those pylons, and you can tell the whole bridge would collapse easily if you take one of those pylons out the way it was built. He does in the video here. He does later on. He highlights. Let me see if I can find that spot where he did that. Oh, I think it's here when he shows you. Here, I'll show you.
I've highlighted here in white where you're noticing the bridge. Now I've slowed it down a little bit here. Here's the first collision, and you'll notice an explosion. Then here you notice another one, and here another one.
Yeah, watch those aren't really explosions. There's cables that go across, or power cables that go across there, and that looked like this. The power cables arcing where they were torn apart. So I would say that those weren't really explosions. They just look like arcing cables to me. I don't believe there's any. I don't think, from the way the thing was designed and the way it fell, it was definitely taken down when that pylon, because there was nothing else holding up the bridge, and it fell apart as it would naturally have fallen apart if you hit it with an immovable force, which that ship is. It's so huge, so much tonnage hitting that bridge. I would think that probably likely back in 77 when they built that bridge, there was probably no cargo ships that size. That was before we really started importing everything from China. And that's where the huge cargo ships started coming in, because all of our goods started coming from China after Nixon. So there was likely nothing that big going through the Chesapeake Harbor back then. So, but they should have, you would have thought, well, somebody would have thought that, what if, and that they should have built some kind of support or protection type structure around those pylons in case something did run into it, so there'd be some protection, because you can easily see when the ship hits the bridge and how it just falls down like a house of cards simply because of the way it's built. I mean, it was great. It had tons of concrete up there, cars racing across all the time, but you take out one of those pylons and it's a goner. You can see exactly how it fell and why it should. So it didn't need any explosives. Like I said, those were probably arcing cables, most likely, that were being torn apart as the bridge fell apart. So, but yeah, unfortunately, they were able to stop the traffic, so there were fewer cars on the bridge. They had a 2-minute warning because they sped up the video there, so someone was able to see and be able to stop the traffic from any more traffic from going on the bridge. So it's one good thing. Okay. Let's see. Well, that's true. Why would you think the president said that we would pay for the bridge so soon? Oh, the president said we will pay for the bridge? Yeah. Well, we'll see. Like I said, the story's not over yet. It's just begun. And I'll be back in a few minutes, because I won't be
Secrets of the Rapture. Is there a 500-year-old conspiracy? A propaganda machine so pervasive and entrenched, yet so elusive that the entire world could be taken in by it, working in plain sight, but unseen by the world for what it truly is? If prophecy is God-given history in advance, why does the prophecy that has conquered the age also exclude nearly 2,000 years of history? What is it that they are afraid that the light of history will reveal? To understand our place and time in prophecy, we must look in history for an interpretation, that which stands the test of time, that which agrees with the Word of God, and history has proven to be true. When cunning fables and fearful speculations are removed from our sight, then we may clearly see what is truly expressed in Bible prophecy, both that which has been fulfilled and that which has yet to come. God's express word is the sword that must be wielded to remove the scales from the eyes and dispel the darkness of deceitful conjecture. Secrets of the Rapture was written to expose that which the spirit of the age has conjured out of the darkness to blind the eyes of the church in the world today. Secrets of the Rapture, Deconstructing Pre-Tribulation Dispensational Futurism by yours truly, Nicholas Arthur, is now available at lulu.com and Amazon. Secrets of the Rapture.
The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on internet or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the internet. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to me. I'm Nicholas. This is Nick at Night on FirstAmendmentRadio.net or First Amendment Radio TV, really, because we audio and video stream 24/7. And if you're looking at the screen, you can see the phone number below, the text number below my chin is also the call-in line if you want to call in. We have it all wired up now, and so it's now nice and crystal clear, and I can hear you, you can hear me, and everybody can hear everybody if you want to call in and join the broadcast, or you can just text me at the same number any time of day. I may not see your text. My mic output is way too low, says somebody. Yeah, it is a little low, isn't it? That's peculiar. I wonder why. You're right about that. See, I have it up all the way there. Huh. But, well, I'll get closer to the mic. But, yeah, you're right. It is lower than usual. So I'll have to check that out in the settings there during the break. How about that? Unless I can run it up here. Let me see if I can run it up a couple decibels here in my thing. Let's see. Front mic, there it is, 100%. Volume. Yeah, I don't see a way to set it up more. Oh, I could probably go up to 110%. How about that? Is that better? 115%? Is that better? Yeah, that looks better. I'll leave it there. And, okay. Yeah, whoever's calling on the other line, I'm not taking calls on this phone anymore. So we'll just press off, and please call in. Use this number to call in. Huh. Okay, there it is. Maybe. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not taking calls on that old line anymore. Nobody can hear me on it anyway, and it breaks up. So we have a new line right there. Yeah. And if you hide your number, I will just cancel your call as soon as it comes in, because I'm doing away with ghost callers. Yeah. So if you were a ghost caller, I'm at least going to have your phone number. Yeah. Because someone tried to call last night, and it said unknown number. So I just said, see, there it is right now. I believe that's our ghost caller. So I just decline because, yeah, I know it's the same guy. that was trying to call me before. So he's declined. You would just take care of that one right there. So you could call me or text me at any time. Yes, there you go. Okay, back to the news of the day. And if you guys comments, questions, the chat rooms are good too. I'm looking at a couple of chat rooms here. The Rumble chat room and the YouTube chat room and the First Amendment Radio chat room. I'm looking at 3 chat rooms. I know there's others out there on some of the other streams that we're on, but I can't watch all of them. And how is that, Epicus? The mic, is that better? Anyway, I hope it's better. But anyway, thanks for the mic check. All right, let's see. Where were we going? Updates are ready. Nope, don't want no updates. Let's go back to the mailbox here and see what else we got from Not to Be. Let's see. Donald Trump was asked how he plans to pay his reduced bond and gave us what may be the best Trump moment ever. Trump shocked reporters today, hounding him about his now reduced payment ordered by the court. Now he's only required to pay a mere $175 million in the next 10 days. That's how he plans to pay it. I guess I have to click on it to see if there's something to those nickels. And okay, the reporter asked him what collateral he was using. He got the most epic Trump moment ever. What's your collateral? Trump said, cash. Cash. Huh. I like cash too, so yeah. And I like a president who likes cash. Unless he's getting it from the Chinese. Anyway. Your name and where you're calling from? You're on the air. Hello. That's weird. Okay, I know my phone works, and we tested this yesterday when Mick called in. So, okay, I got a phone number, but no one's talking. And anyway, okay, so that's it. I guess I just have to end the call if someone's not going to talk to me, because I do have the sound on. And I know it does work. So, anyway, that's weird. So, anyway, I got that phone number. And I can, let me see. If it says block number. There, we just blocked that number. All right, so that takes care of that. So, if I blocked your number by accident or something wrong with your phone, text me. Oh, wait a minute, your number's blocked. Email me. Yeah. So this is the only way to take care of this nonsense. Yeah. So anyway, Trump said cash. Reporter said, oh. Huh. Let's see if the sound actually works. Cash. All right. Well, and this is Not to Be news. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Still got that. Oh, I'm on the wrong page here. Let's see, we'll close that, go back to that. Yes. Let's see, kids that grow up on farms are just built different. This will be the most wholesome thing you see today. This farmer's got to be the dad of the year, because little girl's going to remember this for the rest of her life. I wonder what she's remembering for the rest of her life. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay, well, it took me nowhere. Oh, here it is. Okay, let's see what's happening here.
Okay, Ansley. Ansley. Yeah? Start turning hard left.
All right.
Other way. Other way. Turn hard.
I turn it.
Perfect. Perfect.
throwing hay for his animals. He's got his little girl driving the truck. That's great. I love it. Yeah. Growing up on a ranch or a farm. It's the only way to grow up. You know, I watched my youngest daughter, grow up on a ranch here. And she, a lot of fun. Just a lot of fun. Really. All right, health concerns surge over sawdust additive in trusted cat food brands. Knowing many big cat food companies take shortcuts like this makes me sick. Says, so what cat food brands have sawdust additive in them? I mean, sawdust is cheap. Eating sawdust, is that like good for you? I don't know. Eating trees? Oh, everybody knows cats eat trees, right? Huh. I got to find out who's selling sawdust as cat food to make sure I'm not feeding my cat sawdust. Let's see. Okay. Well, renowned. Oh, you know what? Okay, they're not going to tell me. Oh, it's a message from Dr. Marty Pets. I thought I was really going to learn something, but they really want to sell me special cat food. I see. Okay, I fell for it. See how that happens? Okay, Lego is demanding California cops stop using their brickheads to replace criminal faces on social media. Oh, man. I guess I don't blame them, you know. But, yeah. I wonder who came up with the idea. Hey, let's use the Lego head to replace criminals. A few days ago, we told you about a California police department that, in an effort to comply with Governor Newsom's regulations and have a little fun, replaced the heads on perps and social media photos with Lego heads. Yes. Yeah, we don't want to out the criminals as governor, our Jesuit Governor Newsom over here in California. And yes, he really is a Jesuit. It's even on his Wikipedia page. So there you go. So we know who he works for. Opinion. She saw her daughter in the toilet. Huh. I've been blessed with the opportunity to speak to a number of pregnancy resources. Oh, I see. That's horrible. Yeah. Typically. Okay. That's opinion. I'm not going to read that story. That just makes me really sad. This man changed his name to literally anybody else. And he's running for president of the United States. Legally changed his name. His first name is literally. I guess his middle name is anybody. And his last name is Else. Mr. Else for president. And let me introduce to you my new favorite candidate for president. Literally anybody else. So, will it take off? 2024. Yeah. Okay. Watch gears spin in Kamal's head as she realized she was clapping to a song dissing America. Yeah, she probably enjoyed it, really. It must have dissed something about her America that she wants to happen, I'm guessing. Yeah. Anyway, I think we saw this the other day. Okay, the feds are raiding Diddy's home on sex trafficking and assault charges. Update. And I don't even know what this is about, sex trafficking and assault charges. Sean Diddy, Combs has fled the United States in his Gulfstream private jet. Must be nice to have a private jet, huh? American rapper Diddy has reportedly left the United States on his private jet, which took off earlier today from Van Nuys Airport. So anyway, he's running away. They're after him. And, they might catch up him. They might not. I don't know. So, guess he didn't pay the right people to get away with his crimes, or he's not friends with the Biden administration or something. Who knows? But sex trafficking and assault charges. Yeah. Pretty serious stuff. Whoever Diddy is. What a name. Oh. Okay.
The NFL is banning hip drop tackles. One guess, football was fun while it lasted. I guess football was fun while it lasted. Fast forward to the belts and flags with them. The NFL has banned the hip drop tackle. Hip drop, huh? Huh. Okay. Must have worked too well or something. NFL owners have agreed to ban the hip drop tackling technique where a defender uses their weight to pull an offensive playmaker to the ground. Tackling was always tackling. So, okay. See, there were 2 murders in El Salvador. Look at the president's response. Find out. I don't get it. So I'll just keep going here. Opinion. This nonprofit is using a Supreme Court loophole to teach kids about Jesus during school hours. I think we should replicate this everywhere. You can just tell that the progressive lefties at NBC are gritting their teeth while writing this one. You can feel the disdain oozing from their keyboard. So there's a nonprofit is using a Supreme Court loophole. Well, sounds like a good idea. We need to fish in every pond that we can, even the public fool system. If they're there, and we can fish in that pond, we should, being fishers of men, whether they're grown-up men or not, or grown-up or children, yes. And that's all we get from Not the Bee today. Not getting a lot of comments and any thing going on in the chat room. Let's see, the phone ring is 5 times louder than your mic. You still barely hear me, huh? Yeah. I guess I need to do something about that. Because, yeah, I even went to 115%. I probably need to get in my settings, in the sound card settings or something. So I'll take a look at it. I'll take it under advisement there. And, oh, hello, Tom. Okay, well, we're done with that. Let me close this tab here. No more Babylon Bee. No more of that. Got this. Redacted news. A UK judge ruled this morning that journalist Julian Assange may have the right to appeal his case on 3 grounds. However, the U.S. will be first given an opportunity to offer more assurances that Assange should be extradited to the U.S. and that they won't kill him. So that's a UK judge. I got movement outside. Got stereo movement outside. Okay. However, the U.S. said the assurances that they will not kill him. So he's in the UK. They want him. Yeah. They want to extradite him, but they want assurances they won't kill him. Well, I hope not. In case you missed it, a major bridge was struck by a ship in Baltimore. Okay, we already covered that one. 7 people were sent crashing into the river below, and most likely many more were hurt, and the footage is shocking. Okay, actor Hugh Grant hinted to Entertainment Weekly that he won't rule out a jump into politics. Hugh Grant. I don't know who he is. Is he like related to Cary Grant? Everybody's going, who's Cary Grant? Right?
Maybe he's Cary Grant's grandson or something, Hugh Grant. I don't know. Who are these people anyway? I'm just not up on the latest movies and all the movie stars and all that stuff. Yeah. Okay, the UK government funded a study to cancel William Shakespeare. The £1 million study concluded that Shakespeare has enabled white, able-bodied, heterosexual, cisgender male narratives to dominate theater. Gosh, that's so unexpected in a land where people have been white for centuries. Yeah. And also, in case you missed it, a Yellowstone actor, Yellowstone, I guess I'm missing out on Yellowstone either. I don't know what that is. But Forney Smith was kicked off a flight for refusing to sit next to a guy wearing a COVID-style face mask. Yeah, I wouldn't want to sit next to somebody who's got a, virus-laden diaper on his face. Nasty. Yeah. Seriously. So he got kicked off the plane. So whoever that guy is, I'm with him. Yeah. You will sit next to the guy with the nasty diaper on his face, but I don't want to. Off the flight you go. Yeah. There you go. Gold. It's up. $21.80. And silver still about $24. All this up and down stuff every day. Yeah, doesn't make much difference. Bitcoin is now $70,000. $70,000 for a bit of nothing. It's a lot of money for a bit of nothing. Yep. Now is not the time to buy Bitcoin. Wasn't it $30,000 just a year or two ago or something? Yeah, spend it now while you can. Buy gold. Use your Bitcoin to buy gold. Of course, you're going to pay more than $21.80. That's bullion price, right? Gold bullion. So there's premiums on coins. So you're probably going to be paying about $2,500 for a 1 ounce coin, gold coin. Yeah, probably up near $2,500 a piece now. That's the way that works because it's real gold. You could probably buy paper gold for $21.80. You might even get a bargain on paper gold. That's really what's keeping the price of gold and silver down is paper gold and silver. You buy, you have, and they supposedly have your gold somewhere, but they've already said that they don't really have enough gold or silver for all the paper that people own. So you can buy paper or silver gold at a bargain. Isn't that crazy? I just say paper or silver gold. It's ridiculous. But they've been using it to keep the price down anyway. And they want to go in sky high, but eventually as the dollar continues going down, it's going to crash sometime, and the value will remain in gold. Let's see. The lead. All in favor of a ceasefire say aye. The U.S. abstained on a vote for ceasefire in Gaza at the United Nations. Oh, is the United Nations at war with Gaza now? Is it bad enough Israel's at war with them? But, well, at least the United Nations is going to call a ceasefire. Or what are they? There you go. Trying to tell Israel what to do, right? That may sound like a bold move, but for the U.S. it is. The U.S. has vetoed ceasefires for months, allowing they abstained. That's allowing Israel to continue its bloody siege on Gaza since October 7th. This is the first time that the U.S. allowed the ceasefire vote to pass, and Israel is furious about it. How dare you give us billions of dollars and then not vote for us to continue, killing Gazans? Yes, and continuing our war on Hamas and the Gaza Strip. How dare you? They're furious. Oh no, oh no. We have to give Israel whatever they want. God will punish us. That's what, the believers in dispensationalism believe, that Israel is God's chosen people. Sorry, they are not. God's chosen people are all of the elect. Yes. And there are some in Israel that are elect. Yes, there are Christians, true believers in Israel. There are true believers likely in Gaza too. So I pray for those, and I pray for peace. I'm all for peace. Darkija's in the chat room. Oh, good to have you here. Let's see, we got anybody else showing up here? No, just Darkija from Denmark. If my memory serves me correct. And he sent me he says, I sent you, I can't see him. I sent you an email, Nicholas, and sent a copy to Tom as well. Well, where did you send it to Tom? I don't even have an email address that Tom answers anymore. Yeah. But, hey, if you're trying to help repair a relationship, I've done everything I can. So maybe it'll help, because I'm all for it. I never wanted Tom Fress to leave First Amendment Radio. He just stopped talking to me and stopped answering my emails. I continue to pray for him, because I still love him as a brother in Christ, even though he decided not to talk to me anymore. So it's all the ball's in his court. I'm all ready and game and willing, if he is. So that's where that's at. And okay, well, there's our tone, and I guess we'll look at the rest of these news items when we get back. Your comments, questions, suggestions, links, calls, or texts, all are welcome. I'll see you in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on satellite, internet, or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the internet. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe, so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Arthur, and I'd like to introduce you to my latest book, Reformed Prophecy Interpretation, an apology for Reformed premillennial historicism in the 21st century. As with primitive biblical Christianity, historicism is the method of prophecy interpretation restored with the advent of the Protestant Reformation, and had become so widely held that for a long time it was called the Protestant view. My book is not so much about the errors of dispensationalism or amillennialism, Rather, it is about the historicist's alternative to understanding many of the same passages from the vantage point of prophecy fulfilled in history. For those that desire more than mere hypotheses, bolstered with conjectured speculation, those who require explicit biblical exegesis and verified historical fulfillment, and are not willing to accept speculation as anything other than what it is. Speculation, not truth. This book is for you. Over the last century, this method of interpretation has become almost completely forgotten, even by Protestants, in the face of a method that is based almost entirely on future speculation, rather than fulfilled prophecy in history. In my book, I examine the reasons for this and investigate some of the prophecy which has been fulfilled in the interim, as well as present an apology for Reformed premillennial historicism to the 21st century. If you're interested in a copy of my book, you can go to my website, crosstheborder.org, and get more information there. Or you may also find it at Amazon. Okay, I am back and had to warm up a cup of coffee here. Take a little break, but we are back. Looks like they've done the P or Diddy, Sean Diddy Combs raid, and I have more information about it. But all I know is evil people wax worse and worse. Yeah, they do. Only hope for anybody is Jesus. Maybe he'll hear the gospel, and maybe he'll go to prison and hear the gospel like so many people do. You never know when the government catches up with them. Okay, so your data is being sold online. Get it back. I'm sure that you won't believe how much your personal data Aura can find. Oh, I see. They're selling another commercial enterprise here to get your data offline. Yeah. Well, I want everyone to see me online. Here I am. See my face. Hear me speak. I've got a message. This is what I couldn't get. Like John Arthur does the radio broadcasts on here. He's always saying that the FBI is listening in while he's doing his broadcast. Like, I hope they're listening to my broadcast. That's why I'm doing it. They don't have to listen in on my phone. All I got to do is, yeah, you get it. So I just kind of chuckle about that. They're tapping his lines and listening to him do his broadcast. Are they that dumb? All I got to do is, go to First Amendment Radio and they can hear everything. Yeah. So kind of wonder about that. All right, next, let's see what else we got. Putin implicates Ukraine in terror attack. Well, big surprise there. So we got I guess that's a Ukrainian passport on one of the perpetrators. A Russian president says that radical Islam is responsible for the terror attack in Moscow this weekend. He implicated Ukraine for facilitating it. So they hired terrorists, I guess, from radical Islam to carry it out for them. And those people just love terror, so they'll take the money and do it, right? I guess. It's carried out by radical Islamists, Putin said in his opening remarks in a video call with law enforcement officials. This leads us to pull the thread of who funded Islamic radicals and for what purpose. This is something the West has done repeatedly in order to sow discord in Syria, Somalia, and Iraq. Colonel Douglas McGregor, who was a former Pentagon advisor to President Trump, told Redacted that the CIA was directly involved in the operation. Wow. Meanwhile, the White House said that There's absolutely no evidence that Ukraine was involved. That's not a denial that the White House was involved. I think the Ukraine is busy enough with their own stuff and, on their own ground to, There's absolutely no evidence that Ukraine was involved. This is the same White House that said Russia blew up its own Nord Stream pipeline and the U.S. border is secure. Yeah, they're still saying it's secure. It's as secure as they want it, meaning that they don't want a secure border. Okay, so what's trending? Well, what's trending is my text number is trending. Yes. I think it rang a couple times today. And, but nobody was home. Oh, nobody was home on the other side of the line. So, but it works great now. I can hear it very clearly. We tested it out. Mike in the chat room, Mike called in yesterday, and it sounded great. Yeah. You got a great radio voice there, Mike. Maybe you should be my co-host. That's co-host for a night or a segment. I'm open. Yeah. Because this is supposed to be kind of a hangout thing. Instead of me sitting in my house reading the book in the wee hours or watching a movie on Netflix all by myself. I'm hanging out with you guys. Yeah. So it'd be great if someone would join me. You can call in and you can Skype in too if you want people to see your face. I'm all set up for Skype. Let me see. Is my Skype up? It was up earlier. Okay. Okay, my Skype is Nicholas Arthur. And I guess, Darkeja in the chat room. My text number works now for call-in. I know he tried to call in on the other phone and said he couldn't hear me and it was all broken up and stuff. But we know this works great now. So I got it all figured out. And I guess I should turn my Skype on. I don't know why it keeps going off by itself. I've been having a problem with Skype on this computer. Oh, speaking of, okay, accept. Hello? I can't hear you. Okay, I know this worked the other day. Or is this the same one that called me a minute ago? Okay, is this somebody in the chat room trying to call me? And it's not working suddenly? See, this is what I don't know, because I guess I've only tested it once with Mike last night, and it worked. And now, unless there's more than one person that likes to call in, but yeah, this should be working. Let me see. Where's my phone at? Okay, well, I don't know why this isn't working. But if I have to call myself to see if the line actually works, that's what I'll have to do. Because this is getting ridiculous. But that's a new number. So, because I can see the number up there. So I have the number. And I blocked the previous one. But if likely Guy Fawkes, how many phone numbers has this guy got, man? Yeah. Darkness is falling. Says likely Guy Fawkes, Nicholas. So, all right. Well, let me see something here. Let me see. Okay. Get rid of that. Here we are. I call myself, and then I answer myself. Okay, there it is. And if I say, hello. 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 I can hear myself loud and clear. Loud and clear. Loud and clear. There it is. You guys all hear me loud and clear? Yeah, so I know it's working. Imagine that. So how was the call quality? The call quality was excellent. So I just gave myself a star rating on the call when I called myself from my own stupid phone.
which has been acting up itself. Okay, so I know that how many numbers does Guy Fawkes have? Yeah. But yeah, that's 2 calls in a row from 2 different numbers, and where no one answered. So, well, I guess I have 3 numbers right here. I have the one I just called myself on, and do I have another number? Oh yeah, and then I have my old studio line number that I was taking calls on before. So I guess I have 3 numbers. So. But I really only have one personal. I had one for First Amendment Radio, and then I have this call-in number that's only on my computer here for the show. And this is it again. Okay, let's see. Accepting. Your name and where you're calling from? That sounds like nothing. So, anyway, that number is, should I give out that number publicly? Okay, well, it would be great if anyone called in that I know, so that I know that it's not only me and Mike that can call in on the text number here. So, see, people toying with me, but that's the same number twice. It's a 414 area code number. So... And they're still connected. Yeah. So the call's going on. Yeah, that's what it says. So if I end the call, how was it? Okay. The call quality was excellent. Again, it asked me how was the call quality after every call. Yeah. Anyway. And it's not a bad deal. It's like $5 or $6 for a year for this number. So it's really cheap. Okay. So if that person calls in a third time and says nothing, I guess I'll block it. Already blocked the 575 number. So that 414. Yeah. 3 strikes and you're out. There we go. All right, where were we now? Yes, indeed. What would I do? I wouldn't have so much fun if I didn't have a phantom caller. And here I am trying to get rid of them, right? All right, let's see what else. What's trending? Andrew Huberman is trending because of this New York Magazine profile of the podcaster accusing him of being a strange person. It's a strange hit piece article, actually, merely accusing him of being a flawed person, perhaps out of jealousy for his popularity. I've never heard of him, but, is one of the most popular podcasters in the world. But can he be trusted? Am I a podcaster? Because I don't know. I'm not on New York Magazine. What do you have to do to be a popular podcaster? I know, yeah. Got me. Yeah. See, the private and public seductions of the world's biggest pop neuroscientist. So he's a pop neuroscientist. Yeah. There you go. What you have to do to be popular. I obviously don't know. Or I'm unwilling to do whatever it takes to be popular. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Hip drop tackle is trending. Yeah, we already talked about the hip drop tackle. It's not a dance move. And the NFL has banned it. Anne Hathaway. I don't know who Anne Hathaway is either, but is trending on for this Vanity Fair cover. Should we see it? Nah, don't care. All right, news by the numbers. Well, at least I keep up with the news at night. Okay. Guy Fawkes. See, that's two people that said that it's Guy Fawkes calling in two different chat rooms. So I guess the phantom caller's name is Guy Fawkes. Well, we can say goodbye to Guy Fawkes, especially if he's calling this forward, because I've already told him he may never call in again, because I banned one of his numbers. So this must be his other number, and I'll ban it, because I know I've confirmed that the phone line does work by calling it myself. And also Mike confirmed it works yesterday. So I guess if I was this guy, I wouldn't have to worry about calls, because he's the most popular podcaster in the world. Wow. Yeah, I bet you they have to fight the calls off on him. He's probably got one of those call systems where they keep people waiting for one call to clear before he gets the next one, kind of like Rush Limbaugh. Yeah. Well, I ain't no Rush Limbaugh, that's for sure. Some people I would not want to be. All right, let's see. 40%, that's how much Boeing stock is down, and news that the company's CEO stepped down. Actually, it should go up. He stepped down because he's ruining it. $20 an hour. That will be the new minimum wage in California for fast food workers starting in April. That means everybody in California's got, because, because nobody can make less than fast food workers, right? So if you got a job making less than a fast food worker, you're probably going to get the same raise too. And that means the price of hamburgers are going up, people. They've already gone up. I can't afford a hamburger at whatever place, And we're paying, what, $5 or $6 for a halfway decent hamburger now? Or not we, because I'm not. I just make my own at home. Yeah. Okay, let's see. What else we got going here? $20 an hour minimum wage for flipping hamburgers. Yeah. That's California for you. That's the legislature. They know what's best for everybody. Yeah, and if it's woke, it's best. Right, they know what's best for everybody. All right, New York Times has a new target. Oh, yeah, what does New York Times have against Shenyang, the traveling Chinese ballet show that you probably see advertised all over your town? The Epoch Times says that the New York Times is about to publish a hit piece on the dance company. Shenyang is based in New York. Their mission is to revive traditional Chinese culture. Their slogan is China before communism. They are not aligned with the Chinese Communist Party, obviously, with a slogan like China before communism. Okay, but the Times has been investigating Shenyang for the last 6 months, interviewing former performers, and presumably trying to make a case that they are a Chinese psyop on America. A Chinese psyop on America. Yeah. Who owns the New York Times? The Epoch Times is now attacking the New York Times for, Anyway. One of the focuses of the piece is on Falun Gong, a meditative practice that is banned in China. Many of those who follow this practice are also founders of the Epoch Times, which may be why this is of interest to the outlet. So if the Chinese government does not like Shenyang, is the New York Times doing it a favor to attack the dance company? Likely. Yeah, there's probably Chinese money in the New York Times. And I figured that out pretty quickly reading the article. For the record, this would be Clayton or his wife speaking. For the record, my mother went to a Shenyang performance last month, and she loved it. She has not been radicalized by China, but she does enjoy Chinese food. There you go. That's a recommendation. Okay, well, that's it for the redacted news for today. What else do we got? Yes, indeed. Oh, he did send me a... Oh, yeah. That's right. Dear Nicholas, I really think you should put the axe away on the Sabbath issue with Tom. I don't have an axe. I would never wield an axe. Literally or otherwise against a brother in Christ. And it really is a win-win situation for both of you to get him on the show again. No, I don't think so, because Tom was having health problems back then. That was beginning of 2019. So that was more than, it was about 5 years ago. Yeah. And he was having health difficulties then. So I'm not sure that he would be able to do a show anymore. I mean, I would be glad if he was, and if he wanted to come back on, as long as he's willing to, abide, under Christian precepts, and, that's fine with me. Because one thing I know, well, you can see the whole debate is at the WordPress site. Let's see, inquisitionupdate.wordpress.com. I set up that WordPress blog, and he excluded me from it because I was keeping it up and keeping up the show there. And I asked him to let me take it back over because he just put a hit piece, the last, that was 5 years ago. So that same hit piece has been on the front of it. So it kind of gives the whole site a black eye. And I asked him to let me take over the site, and so I could continue to put up the shows up there, because they're not all up there. And I'm still putting up shows that have not been put up in 10 years, and playing them on First Amendment Radio, and uploading them to Rumble and what's the other one? Odyssey, for playlists at this time. Because I expect at some point they'll be taken down off of YouTube. Yeah. Even though they haven't been, everything I put up, but not everything is on YouTube. And I had to stop putting his show up there even 5 years ago. When I was putting his show up, they were giving me strikes for the new broadcasts I was putting up. And they were giving strikes for Generations Radio. They were giving strikes for my shows. So YouTube was just striking everything. And I was live broadcasting 24/7 on YouTube too. And they started to strike they shut down my live stream. Yeah. So, that's the channel you guys are listening to on YouTube right now. So I'm still on there. They just keep deleting videos over there. That's why I'm trying to get everything, as I play it out, over again. And some things I've never played that are not even on YouTube yet. So I've got quite a catalog that Tom recorded for nearly 10 years. I don't know how many things, but they're not all up yet. So I'm just going through the whole catalog, starting at the beginning and replaying everything over again. And I'm going to try to get everything up there. Yeah. Except he went a little crazy on the Sabbath issue, and he started attacking the listeners, and really going a little bit overboard. And he was saying some things like, when your pastor gets into church and he sings, "This is the day that the Lord has made," he's a liar because he's doing it on Sunday. And things like that. And you're worshiping the Antichrist. You're a worshiper of the Pope. I told him, man, I'll just show it to you here. There's people, I keep hearing about this, so I'll just do what I told you to do. Go to
I haven't been there. InquisitionUpdate.wordpress.com. I haven't been there in a while. And see, there it is. It's still there from August. Oh, it was 2019. So it was the beginning. That's what I said. It was August 2019. I thought it was earlier than that. But he put up this one post and never put up anything else. And as he finished, you'll see he has these here. And he stopped posting. He still has a link to First Amendment Radio on here. I think he lost the password or something. And, yeah. And because he says, I finally figured out how to do this. And he just wrote this piece. And then I posted some, if you go there, it says there are 8 comments. And so I posted a rebuttal to him. And anyway, so the whole thing is there with my rebuttal, and other people tried to talk him into, coming back. And I wanted him to come back on. But, because I said something about him, berating the listeners because for not going to church on Saturday instead of Sunday. But the fact is this, the scripture plainly says that we're not to judge each other in meat or drink or the keeping of days, Sabbaths and new moons. It expressly says that. And I said, and I says that's not just one verse, but it's confirmed. There are at least 2 witnesses that we're not supposed to do that. And so I asked him not to do that. Okay? So he got offended and says I was violating his right to free speech. And I said, you're just detracting from the good work you're doing. And he took offense to it and stopped talking to me. There's nothing I can do about it. The ball's all in his court. So however many 5 years it's been, he's refused to even have a conversation with me or anything. I'm sad, but that's the way it is.
The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on satellite, internet, or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the internet. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening.
Visit crosstheborder.org, C-R-O-S-S, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn. The Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the scriptures? and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a re-established Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, C-R-O-S-S, crosstheborder.org to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
Okay, well, I adjusted my mic in OBS to 150%. So I hope that's loud enough. Let me know. What do you think? Good to see you, A Hammer, in the chat room there. Jesus is the Sabbath every day. Yeah, Jesus is our Sabbath rest. That's right. And we can worship every day. We're not compelled nor prohibited from worshiping or resting on any day. That's the New Testament rule. We are not prohibited nor compelled to worship or rest on any day. That's called walking in liberty. And that's what Jesus demonstrated for us. The Sabbath law was given to the children of Israel in the wilderness. In the context, that's what it is. We are not the children of Israel. That was the shadow. And Jesus is the substance. So, and I have several articles on my website that came out of that controversy about that. So what do you think, whoever was talking about? Oh yeah, Epicus. What do you think? Is the sound good? Because I don't think I should go much higher, but I'm looking at the monitor and I'm starting to hit the red now. So anyway, I try to make everyone happy. Try to do good. Of course, trying to make the Lord please God, that's the main thing that we can do with our lives. So anyway, that's there, the Inquisition Update. But you go to inquisitionupdate.org, and I have a page, since I couldn't keep up the Inquisition Update blog that I set up, and gave him the permission to, and then he excluded me because I gave him full permission like I had. And so I forwarded inquisitionupdate.org to a page on my own blog, and you can find it there. If you want to find all of the Inquisition Update broadcasts, all of the books that he commented on and reviewed on air, you can find them at my website. It says, there's a tab up there that says Inquisition Update Archives, so you can check that there, and you'll see Vatican Billions, the history of Romanism. They're all up here that I have published so far in the internet, and I'll be changing all of these over as I put them on Rumble. I'm going to change them to Rumble, so that, because I don't trust YouTube. And why should I support YouTube anyway, since they're so much against free speech? But anyway, there they are. You can go to inquisitionupdate.org, forwards it there. So, but I'm glad that I don't know, Darkija in the chat room, what email address you have for Tom. So let me know if he answers you. And am I going to block this number? Or are you going to speak? Speak now, or I will forever hold your peace. No? Nothing? Okay, well, that's strike 3. We go, okay, strike 3. Okay, so there's got to be a way to block it here. Oh, I guess I can edit contact. Oh, hang up. Skip that. Now I go over here and block number. Block. There we go. Okay, that's 2 block numbers. Let's see if it's not blowing up my program anymore. Guy Fawkes strikes again. But now I blocked 2 numbers tonight. That's horrible. Yeah. That the only person who's called me twice I had to block. And then there's the unknown number that I didn't block, because I can't block an unknown number. But I did, yeah. So, but I just rejected the call. So, unknown numbers get rejected. You can call that other guy. What's the name of that program? That popular one? Yeah, that guy. Call him. So I may never hear from Guy Fawkes again. Yeah. Of course, I never heard from him in the beginning. So what difference does it make? Okay, well, this is like the last segment here. What do we want to talk about? I had an article here. Proposed peace amendment to the United States Constitution. It is one of the great ironies of history that at the very moment the United States plunges deeper and deeper into war hysteria, that our politicians and government officials are possessed by the demons of complete annihilation and endless expansion, that falsehood and hypocrisy wrap their tentacles around the arms and legs of public intellectuals at the very moment that it becomes impossible in Washington, D.C. to talk about any subject that is not tied to war, at the very moment that the entire United States is being transformed into a military economy, one wherein all critical decisions are made by military contractors, privatized police, prisons, and for-profit intelligence, and at the top, the militarized private equity firms who pull the strings. It is a terrible and comic irony that we, of all the nations of the earth, should be pressuring Japan to give up its commitment to oppose militarism as expressed in the Japanese Constitution, and to join us as junior partners in our suicide march toward world war and nuclear holocaust. That was, yes, that was quite a sentence. That was all one sentence. We have things so completely backwards. The United States does not have any need to, let alone have any right to, pressure Japan to give up its peace constitution or to stir up the desires for the fortune latent in Tokyo's military contractors. We know that some Japanese are already itching for an excuse to prepare for war and to destroy Japanese civil society by creating a military economy as a means of bringing even more wealth and power to the few. No, it is the United States that needs a peace constitution, and it needs it right now. We failed to return to a peace economy after the Second World War, and the institutional and cultural cancer resulting from an economy stimulated by and propped up by war has metastasized and spread throughout the entire society so that war is everywhere, from children's toys to parking spaces for veterans, to glowing tributes by politicians to those who kill in blind obedience to the state. We need now an institutional, intellectual, and spiritual commitment to an economy and a society that is founded in peace, that is committed to peace, and that rewards citizens for their constructive economic contributions to the well-being of their families, their neighborhoods, their regions, their country, and to the entire earth. I do speak these words lightly, and I speak them as someone who has spent decades thinking about and writing about security and conflict. But the truth must be spoken, and we do not have long before the great reckoning, he says. And this is from Emanuel Pastrick, Fear No Evil. Yes, it's likely the name of his book. We have, let's see. Maybe there are those who can justify a society that is addicted to war, to destruction, and to endless expansion. That is not my job. War is not caused by a few bad apples or a lack of maturity among political leaders. It is the product of an economic system that demands consumption and praises growth. For war is the greatest force for consumption and growth, until, of course, it leaves everything in ruins. And then when after everything's in ruins, what do you need? Growth and consumption. Yes. They used to be called a disease consumption, didn't they? Yeah. War is a product of a concept of economics detached from morality and humanity, that has no concern for the long term, and that focuses on returns for the rich calculated over weeks and months, and inhuman economics wherein the long-term well-being of the citizens of the earth is irrelevant. And that's, we all feel that from when we look at Washington, D.C., that we know that they hold us up as irrelevant. That's for sure. Irrelevant is right. This speculation-driven casino economy has pushed overproduction across the country, which forces us to wrap everything in plastic so as to keep profits from flowing to petroleum companies, and to prepare for war because the only factories left in America are those making military parts. Yes, that's about all that's left in America. Everything else is made in China or India or wherever. Yes, most construction factories have been moved overseas as part of the great free trade fraud perpetrated by the corporate parties, perpetrated by the Antichrist to strip America of its might. The Japanese Constitution. Let's take a look at the Article 9 of the Japanese Constitution, that part of Japan's post-war legacy that is so offensive to the American politicians and bureaucrats who have become the slaves of military contractors, and that is also repulsive to the bankers behind the stage who benefit from war preparations in Asia. Article 9 is also a rallying cry for militarists who wish to create a new empire, and for well-paid security consultants deployed in Japan to promote expensive fighter planes that cannot even take off and land, missile defenses. I know. I mean, do we really need billion-dollar planes? Weren't the million-dollar planes good enough? Do they really have to be $1 billion a copy now? Or whatever? It's ridiculous. Yeah. But who are the promote expensive fighter planes that cannot even take off and land, missile defense systems that cannot stop anything, but who are unconcerned with the fact that Japan cannot even provide its own food, that its water is being slowly poisoned with chemicals from factories and military bases, or that its nuclear power plants are sitting targets just waiting for an enemy attack. Article 9 states, aspiring sincerely to an international peace based on justice and order, the Japanese people forever renounce war as a sovereign right of the nation and the threat or use of force as a means of settling international disputes. Article 9 is invaluable in its intentions and spirit, and has had a positive impact around the world, even as its meaning has been diluted, then distorted, and then eviscerated through shifts in Japanese policy, kind of like the American Constitution has been, was it diluted, distorted, and eviscerated. Starting with the Japanese, with establishment of self-defense forces, followed by the integration of the Japanese economy into the American war economy during the Korean War, and culminating in the false concept of collective security, a fig leaf for aggressive military expansionism and entry into the international arms market. At the same time, we must recognize that there are problems with Article 9. First, the text suggests that Japan must renounce war as an idealistic aspiration for international peace based on justice and order, rather than as a necessity in an age in which we are faced with the choice between hegemony and survival, as Noam Chomsky famously put it. The absence of a concrete articulation of the logic behind renouncing war for a practical goal, not only for the abstract ideals of justice, has generated unending criticism, holding that the Japanese Constitution is overly idealistic and even a violation of Japan's sovereign rights. Of course, that was fairly forced onto them and at the end of World War II. But now America is changing its mind because of the rise of China and the threat, and probably China more than anything, and Russia, of course. But Russia, I don't believe, was ever a threat to NATO. Yeah, I don't think so, especially after the fall of the Soviet Union. Yeah, they actually wanted to join NATO. What could have been better than Russia joining NATO? Then it would have been the world against China. Of course, who made China great, Well, it all started with, what's his name? Kissinger and Nixon. That's right. They opened up China, and then they started shipping our factories off to China. They'd have the Chinese would come over here, dismantle the factories piece by piece, number each piece, like a Lego set, put it on ships, take it over to China, and reassemble it. And they did that for decades. And now they don't do that anymore. They just build their own. Now they know how, right? They're very good at learning. Of course, all humans are. So, okay, the absence of concrete articulation of the logic behind renouncing war for practical, not only the abstract ideals of justice, has generated unending criticism, holding that the Japanese Constitution, as I already read that, overly idealistic. It will be critical in the future debates on security policy to explain how Japan's position on the use of war is realistic and strategic, and how it is unmistakably the long-term interests of the Japanese and the international community. It is also critical that Japan and Americans challenge the assumption underlying American security policy. But the fact is that we were, at the end of World War II, that we would be Japan's protectors, America, because America came out of World War II the strongest nation on the planet, and likely still remains that way today, though China is quickly catching up. And China and Russia together likely would be strong enough. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. There's a whole lot of unanswered questions which I don't have the answers for, like nuclear weapons and stuff like that. How much of it is a hoax? How much of it is real? There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there for which there are not enough answers. So, anyway, Japan is is arming up for defense. So, because America wants them to, basically, because they will be our ally now, right? Right, because they are like really long time, centuries old enemies with China and Russia too, I believe. I believe they're both long time enemies. And as far as prophecy, going back to the prophecy, there is still the kings of the East incursion or judgment that God is holding out, still holding out. The way has been made. The Euphrates powers are dried up, although they're now invading countries in a different way through immigration. That's kind of like a woe, but it's a different kind of woe. It's not the warfare woe that it used to be, because the Islamic nations or the Islamic powers, Mohammedanism in the past, many times was a woe to Christianity. I mean, they went all the way into Africa, Spain, and France, and were always eventually driven back out of those countries in history. If you read the history that you can find in the Revelation, read E.B. Elliott's Hoary Apocalyptic, and you can learn all about that. So that Euphrates power is dried up to make way for the kings of the East. The question is, when will the kings of the East take the place of punishing Western Christendom that the Islamic or Muslim powers used to take when God was punishing them using those, pagan nations that are Islam? I guess they wouldn't really be pagan. What would you call them? Yeah, the anti-Christian power of Islam. But, and even that's questionable as to where they really had their rise out of Catholicism in the 3rd or 4th century. Yeah, fairly new religion. Yeah. So the kings of the East, warring on Western Christendom, and I believe that war may extend even to the Americas and wherever Western Christendom has spread, including countries like, places like down under Australia or New Zealand and other places. Yeah. So we'll see. We can, because the prophecy will be fulfilled. And could I be wrong about my interpretation? I think I have the best interpretation out there. If someone has something better, I'm always willing to listen, because I like better. I like to hear better interpretations, because if I hear a better interpretation, I will adopt it. Because that's much easier to do than to just, to struggle with coming up. But from what I see from past interpretation and fulfillment of prophecy, that's where it leads me to believe. And so we have that. And then the other thing that must be fulfilled before Christ comes, because the return of Christ is not imminent. All of the prophecy that's supposed to happen before Christ returns has to be fulfilled. There's no pre-trib resurrection that is imminent. That's the fantasy that the Antichrist wants to sell you, so that you won't know who he is, so that you'll believe that you can't know who the Antichrist is because he's not going to appear until the fantasy pre-tribulation resurrection happens. And I'm not going to call it the rapture. I'm calling it what it is. They've redefined the rapture to mean resurrection and a pre-tribulation resurrection. And that's the way I'm wording it right from now on. I'm not letting him get away with it, because that's exactly what they're saying is going to happen. It's a pre-tribulation resurrection, which is not in the Bible. So before that before the second coming of Christ, okay, Since there is no pre-tribulation resurrection, there's only the resurrection that happens when Christ returns. It's all the Bible gives us, nothing else. Okay? Oh, there is a second resurrection in the Revelation, but that's the one at the very end. And if you miss the first resurrection, that's the one you go to, and it won't be good. Okay? So you don't want to go to that second resurrection. And the Bible actually enumerates the resurrections. One is called the first resurrection, and of course, and it says that whoever makes the first resurrection will not be subject to the second death, because that's the second resurrection. That's when the second death comes about. It's all there. Revelation chapter 20. Check it out for yourself. Anyway, that's all we have time for tonight. And I will be back likely I'll be back tomorrow morning for my Prophecy Reality Edition. So make sure you show up for that if you can, but it will be recorded. All right, well, may the Almighty bless you and keep you as you travel on the narrow way that leads to life. Yes, the repentance road. I'll see you next time. Secrets of the Rapture. Is there a 500-year-old conspiracy? A propaganda machine so pervasive and entrenched, yet so elusive that the entire world could be taken in by it, working in plain sight, but unseen by the world for what it truly is? If prophecy is God-given history in advance, why does the prophecy that has conquered the age also exclude nearly 2,000 years of history? What is it that they are afraid that the light of history will reveal? To understand our place and time in prophecy, we must look in history for an interpretation, that which stands the test of time, that which agrees with the Word of God, and history has proven to be true. When cunning fables and fearful speculations are removed from our sight, then we may clearly see what is truly expressed in Bible prophecy, both that which has been fulfilled and that which has yet to come. God's express word is the sword that must be wielded to remove the scales from the eyes and dispel the darkness of deceitful conjecture. Secrets of the Rapture was written to expose that which the spirit of the age has conjured out of the darkness to blind the eyes of the church in the world today. Secrets of the Rapture, deconstructing pre-tribulation.
American Family News, I'm Steve Pugh. At least 7 people are missing in the waters off Baltimore after the Francis Scott Key Bridge was destroyed when a cargo ship collided with it. Speaking about the disaster, Maryland Transportation Secretary...
Many of us have been alive. So the path to normalcy will not be easy.
The collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge is diverting shipping and trucking around one of the busiest ports on America's East Coast, creating delays and raising costs in the latest disruption to global supply chains. Maryland's governor said the operators of the ship issued a mayday call moments before the crash. Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announces technologist, attorney, and entrepreneur Nicole Shanahan as his running mate.
She now understands that the defense agencies work for the military-industrial complex, that health agencies work for Big Pharma, that the USDA works for big ag and the processed food cartels, that the EPA is in cahoots with the polluters.
The reveal was at an event in Oakland, California. She's the wife of Google's co-founder and was also reported as having an affair with Elon Musk, which both she and Musk deny. The appeals bond in former President Donald Trump's civil fraud case was reduced to $175 million from about $454 million, and he was granted 10 days to pay it. And of course, the left-wing media had a meltdown. Some are calling the exorbitant amount of the bond an example of Soviet-style injustice. Mark Lauder of the America First Policy Institute appeared on Jenna Ellis in the Morning.
This case boils down to that they accused basically Donald Trump of robbing a bank, and the bank says we weren't robbed. It's a joke. But obviously the $64 million, bond and fine. I'll defer to your expertise, Jenna, but that seems like such an easy Eighth Amendment argument about an excessive fine that the Supreme Court eventually will probably get this case and will swat this away pretty quickly.
He says this case and the others demonstrate the depth that the left will go to try and get rid of Trump. He talked about the case beginning on April 15th.
The basis of the case was that $130,000 was paid back in 2016 to Stormy Daniels by Michael Cohen, and then Donald Trump repaid Michael Cohen over the course of 34 different payments. So as opposed to saying, well, you made this one payment of $130,000, they're charging him 34 times with these crimes.